from the world of the Microsoft Power Platform. So for a change from Power Apps today, I'm going to do an introductory session on Power Virtual Agents, because I'm not seeing a lot of information out there about Power Virtual Agents. I thought it might be something interesting for you to understand a bit about. You can see on the screen where we are at the moment. We're in Power Apps screen, and I've come down to, rather than up here at Apps, I'll come all data. I'm down here at Chatbots. I've gone to list, but we'll just switch to create for a second here. So we get a similar creation screen here for our chatbots, and you can see what it says there: built intelligence, no-code chatbots. So what I like about chatbots is you can embed them in Teams, for example, and give your users the kind of interface which people are starting to like these days. They're used to Home Assistants and so on, where they can just ask a question and they can access data in a kind of non-traditional way. People are used to searching for things or looking for content within SharePoint or a variety of other locations that there may be data stored. But with a chat bot, you don't need to worry about where that data is. That's all programmed into the bot. You just ask it for that data, and you could build a bot, for example, which is a health and safety bot, or a HR bot, or a service bot where you can raise service tickets via that bot. So I thought it was just worth me doing a 5 to 10 minute sort of introduction as to what they are and just understand what a few of the moving parts are, so that you can understand whether or not you think it might be something useful for your own business. Let's come to the list option here for a second, and we're going to create ourselves a new chat bot so you can see what the process is like and what the sort of build steps might be. So let's just call this one our example bot. It's going to be in English, English US, I guess. I think I've got English UK, doesn't make a lot of difference. English US, and go ahead and create the bot. So it's going to give us a nice loading graphic for building a robot in the background, which is nice, while it goes ahead and plumbs all the pieces together. While it's doing that, we can start to think about how we'd want our bot to behave. So as you'll see in a second, the bot will come preloaded with welcome topic. So in bots, you'll see that we have this idea of topics, which the bot might cover a variety of topics. Welcome is a topic in its own right. Greetings is a topic, and then you've got custom topics on top of that, which we'll go through in this introduction session. So you can see immediately we've got a test bot on the side here that we can interact with. Once that's finished loading and creating, we'll have a little play around with the test bot and see what it's doing. Here we go. So we've got the option here. So I can type something like hello in there, and we can test it real time, see what it would do. There we go. So there's this boilerplate code plugged in there at the moment, which just comes back and says what it says there, what can I help you with, etc. So that's all basically using the topic, the greeting topic. I'm going to flick on the left hand side here on my virtual agents navigation down to topics. And you can see it comes preloaded with a few topics here to get us going. So we're interacting with the greeting topic at the moment. They've got some other ones here ready to go for us with escalations, goodbyes, start overs, that sort of thing. And there's some training topics, if you like, here as well. But what I'll do is I'll jump straight into the creation of a new topic. First of all, just before we do that, let's just jump into the greeting topic a second. Let's click on the greeting. Here we go. So you can see that we've got a variety of different trigger phrases that will trigger the greeting process for our bot, which will give us our end users the options. And it's quite, it comes with all the sort of ones that you would imagine. Hi there, hi, hey, smiley face, hello, sir, a variety of different ones. But it's worth noting that it's not text matching. It will interpret quite a few of these as well. So for example, there's good morning is one of the trigger items. So let's just put start over in there. So that will bring us back to the home again. So let's just say, hi we know works. Okay, hi works, brings us back around that. So rather than saying, let's deliberately misspell afternoon, let's put good afternoon. Okay, so that picked that up and that worked with it okay, and it was fine. If I put in a load of absolute nonsense, it is struggling to find that. It didn't match it to a topic. So is a bit smarter than actually you don't have to cater for every spelling error or problem. It's smart enough to understand that it's actually pretty good. Like hello friend is one of the trigger phrases there. If I put in hello Hilo Fiend, okay, that was a bad example, but hello Fiend. Okay, so you can see it's doing some sort of matching of the items in the trigger phrases. They don't have to be exactly matched. You don't have to put 100 in there with every potential spelling error and mistake that you can imagine in there. So it will do a bit of smart stuff in between. So let's just come back to our topics. So in this short sort of introductory session, let's just switch to new topic. So maybe this is my, let's go HR. So we want an HR bot where we want to ask it how many days holiday we've got and when was the last time we took a holiday and how long have I worked at the company, questions that you might otherwise message an HR representative about. Let's call this HR bot. We'll just copy that across to those places as well. So we're going to need at least one trigger phrase. So I'll use a hi HR. We'll add that. We'll also go hello HR and let's say HR info. That'll do for now. Some trigger phrases. It's worth mentioning as well later on when these bots are in production and people are interacting with them, you can look at what's happening during the run process, and if there's trigger phrases that people are regularly typing in that you're not catering for, then you can update your bot later on to cater for those trigger phrases that you've overlooked. Okay, so that's the basic information needed for our topic. So a bot may have a number of topics. You'll have a welcome topic, and you'll probably have a termination, end of conversation type topic. And then it's up to you how many topics you have in your bot thereon from there. So an HR one, you might have a separate topic for how many days leave have I got left, a separate topic for how do I raise a grievance, a separate topic for something else. Each of those are sort of separate mini processes which the bot can then switch into. And we can programmatically switch people into topics as you'll see in a minute in authoring canvas, or the bot will actually work out based on the trigger phrase which topic to go into. So I'm going to open up the authoring canvas, which is the fun part of the bot creation. You see it's a little bit like Power Automate. It's a little bit nicer than Power Automate in some ways actually. It's quite a nice interface here. So you can see we've got right at the top here, we've got the trigger phrase that we entered, HR info, hello info, or hello HR and hi HR. So we can put the default first step, if you like, is to put a response back from the bot. So here we might say, let's get rid of that box out. So it can say, hi, this is HR bot. How can I help you? Okay, straightforward enough. So what we might like to do next is give some options for things that they might like to do, like how many days leave do I have and that kind of thing. So these are the options that we've got for the next step essentially. And you can see we could switch to a separate topic from here. We've got some escalation and we've got the default ones that they created here, plus thank you, goodbye, whichever one. So we could jump straight to a separate topic if we wanted to at this point, but we would normally wait for user input to actually decide what topic we want to go to. So let's ask a question. This is the most useful part of it. So let's actually take that text from there, put that in the format of that question there. We can actually get rid of that, then cut down on a space. So we're asking a question, how can I help you? So we're going to offer some choices of things that we can help with. So it might be buy extra holiday as one of the options. Another option might be to get holiday balance. Another one might be to raise a grievance, perhaps. So that will do for 3 options there. Obviously, we can have as many as we feel we need. And you can see what it does automatically is build out a structure for us underneath, some paths which to go down. So if that person asks to buy extra holiday, we at this point here we could show a message to say, okay, no problem, we can do that for you. And then here we might be ask another question, which would be how many days would you like to buy? And then we could either give them various different types of data here. So we could ask them to type in a number, or we could give them some choices potentially. Maybe you only allow your staff to buy in 5 days or 10 days, or blocks of 3 days, or whatever you want to do. So we'll have that just as a rather than a multiple choice. We'll just have that as we really want that as a number, don't we? That's what we want for this number. There we go. You can see it's building out a nice variable for us as well, which is variable1 number. Not the greatest of names, var1, so let's call that something a bit better. So that could be variable days requested. Okay, good. So I don't want to get too deep into fleshing out every avenue of possibilities here, but what we'll do is just terminate at least one of these with a response. So let's just have show a message here. So this was get holiday balance. So we could say getting balance now. And then for this last one here, raise a grievance. We'll show a message and just say, okay, I will start the process. Let's drag that handle across a little bit there so we can see a bit more clearly. Okay, so far we've got a reasonable set of options going. So let's just save that. Okay, it's successful. So let's give it a little whirl. We can test it real time here. So let's just say hi. We'll get the out of the box greeting stuff. So let's just say HR. Just go HR, see if that's done it. Yeah, okay, great, it has. So even though HR isn't specifically one of the trigger phrases, by typing HR, it's understood that's what I wanted to do. And now you can see that my design surface has become a testing interface. So it's actually showing me where I've come from and what I've done at each step of the way. So I'm now at the point here where it's asking me for the options, or it's giving me the options for what I can do. The one I've fleshed out the most is the buy extra holiday. So let's click on buy extra holiday. So you can see it's now brought me down to the buy extra holiday arm and showing me what it's done so far. So it's given me the message and it's asked the question. Okay, no problem. We can do that for you. How many days would you like to buy? So let's say I want to buy 5 extra days holiday. Click on a thing. So obviously that brings us to the end of our chain here, but let's just put in a message, and we want this to be, want to replay what I've asked for. So let's say sure. So that's, and we want to input a variable there. So days requested, that's days requested, days you wanted. Yes, so we're just going to replay that back to the end user again, just so they can get a feedback of what they've requested. So let's save that. It's all saved. So we'll just jump straight into HR, type HR into the box. There we go, it's brought us into our HR topic. So I want to buy some extra holiday. Okay, no problem, we can do that. How many days would you like to buy? Let's say 3 days. Click on plus. Sure, so that's 3 days you wanted, yes. So you can see we've got a pretty human-like interaction going on here. All I've typed is HR and 3, and I've just clicked on one link, and I'm already at the point of it telling me that I want to buy 3 days extra holiday, which is really simple. I haven't needed to go anywhere or do anything really. I've just asked for it, and it's happening. So this is an introductory session. I'm not going to go too deep into the complexities of the next part of it, because I just wanted to really show off the overall structure of how it hangs together. but the important stuff is obviously the call and action. So we want to do something with that information now. Um, so essentially what that does is it uses Power Automate flows in order to do that stuff for us. So much like if you see my other video on Power Apps and interacting with Flow as a method engine, if you like, for going off and doing things in the background, then this is the same sort of thing. So let's say that the number of days holiday everyone has got is stored in a database somewhere, SharePoint list, Dataverse table, SQL, other system, and we want to go off and access that information. Then basically it would create a modified version of a flow for me, basically, which would have a header and a footer for Power Virtual Agents. So I could pass into that flow then my days requested plus the user information, and then that could either, it could go off and create a record somewhere to allocate that. It could modify an existing record to add 3 to it, or create an approval process for the HR manager, for example, or using Power Automate to do the heavy lifting for me. And then once that process is done, it could return something back to me to say that process was done. You've been given 3 extra days. This is a reference of the item being created. Should there be any follow up, which could be the ID of a list item or some sort of verification that the process has gone through. So if that's of interesting to people, I'll do a follow-up video on that in a bit more detail. But I just wanted this first introductory video to be relatively short and sweet, just to illustrate the fact that you can really quickly create those topics and you can interact with those topics, and the editing canvas sort of becomes the sort of test canvas as well, which is really quite amazing when you think about it. We follow the green ticks, we can see the arm that we went down. I can still go back and modify these. So I'm sort of almost in a hybrid of a test situation and a live situation, a bit like Power Apps does, where you're jumping in between the editing and the testing seamlessly, which is sort of the way that things are with this technology now. So at some point down one of these arms, if I'd done whatever I needed to do with the data to actually write that away somewhere, I could show a message to say, okay, that's all done. And then you can say, is there anything else I can help you with? And there's sort of this end conversation option which is built in, which is you can either end it with a survey where it will say how well did we do today, etc. Or you can configure a transfer to agent option where it would actually directly then contact a human should the bot run out of options, or they want to do something that's a bit more complicated. But you can see how that could take away a lot of the mundane things that people might have to do. If it's just me phoning up an HR person to look up some data, why would you not have a robot doing that for you? So final thing just to point out here before I sort of drop off from the introductory session, I might revisit this with some more in-depth stuff around the interacting with the data side of it. Is around the analytics here. So obviously this is a brand new one. There isn't a lot of analytics to show. But you can see it's building a little mini dashboard for me of the total number of sessions, how engaged people were, the abandon rate, because we can put the little summary thing at the end. It'll give us a CSAT score, which is a client satisfaction score. So that'll tell us how happy people were with their journey on that bot, essentially. And then we can publish these bots out to different locations. We can have them in Teams. They can be standalone. It can be published out to a variety of places, Power Apps, for example. So quite a powerful little feature. And the takeaways from this video are really to understand that everything is based around topics. And that's really what you need to understand, is that the bot initially, after it's gone through the greeting topic, is looking to steer you towards one of the custom topics. Of course, we created our HR info or HR bot topic, but it depends how you want to architect it. You may want to have one company bot that does everything. It does HR, does marketing, does all sorts of things. Or you split those out so you can actually have a marketing bot where you could actually interact with them and do some sort of automated request via a bot that direction. But pretty cool, pretty clever. Worth noting that there is an additional cost for these. They're not baked into sort of standard enterprise grade licensing. It works out something around about 50 pence per session, and a session is from where someone starts the greeting and then arrives at an outcome. So if you had multiple topics in there, someone could come here, buy a holiday, do something else, and all that would count as a single session until they got to the point that either they handed over to a human agent or completed the satisfaction survey, which would be the end of that session. So looking at give or take about 50 pence for one of those sessions. So you can do the maths on extrapolating out how long it would, if that's a half an hour of conversation with a human, then you can do the maths there. If that person's paid £20 an hour, then it's 50 pence instead of £10 potentially that you've just saved. So quite a big saving if you're taking the weight off of people that are doing a lot of mundane stuff, because this can obviously reach out to those data sources a lot faster automatically than someone could having to log in and manually find all that information. So HR is a good example, holiday and things like that, but you can probably think of a dozen different examples where the bot could go and find that information for you and return it to your end users. So a very powerful little feature. I'll go into it in some more detail if people are interested, and it's an enjoyable little topic. So hopefully that was something you found useful. I'll return to it in future videos, but for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.